are back after what seems like forever hunting at the Carboot and on the precipice of starting a new collection. But as things start, things end as we head to what could be the final Sunday ever at its local Carboot.
Game pickups! Building the game room! Road trips! Live game hunting! Oh yeah!
Hello again folks and welcome to a very special episode as yes, the stars have aligned, the rain has stopped and most importantly I have a day off work on a Sunday so I can hit up my local Carboot, my self-proclaimed greatest Carboot in the entire world, Arming Hall, and we are back at the hunt and quite possibly my favourite place to hunt. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and please subscribe as I put new videos out every Saturday night 5 as well as bonus content throughout the week and I really want you folks along for the ride and hopefully there'll be loads more Carboot content coming very soon here to the channel. Now let's head to Arming Hall Carboot. Here we are then, bright and early at Arming Hall Carboot on a Sunday morning and don't let the clouds fool you. It was already absolutely roasting and let's hope we can find some hot deals. Now this is a good start, the Pokemon Destined Rivals ETB box. Now this had been opened but these are super hard to find at the moment. If I can get this for a decent price, I'm more than willing to pick this up. Even though some of the better cards may have been already picked out, I still want to get as many of these new Team Rocket cards as possible, but unfortunately it wasn't for sale, which is really annoying. I hate when that happens at the Carboot. You ask how much something is and suddenly it's not for sale, but we move. And next up we had all these Xbox and Xbox One controllers. All of these were £10 each, but for that price I probably wouldn't take a risk because of course when you pick up a controller at the Carboot you have no guarantee it works. But let's get on to some games, and this is what I love to see. Every game in this box, £1. Whether to add to the collection or to flip into CX for that sweet, sweet in-store credit, this is the best thing about the Carboots, picking up games for £1. And there was a Connect game here I don't think I've ever seen before, and honestly, when it comes to Xbox 360 games, if there's a game for £1 I haven't got in my collection, chances are I'm going to pick it up because honestly, Carboots are still the best way to build an Xbox 360 collection. Always good to see PlayStation 4 games at the Carboot, and I think we're seeing these more and more often these days. Unfortunately, all of these games were £2 each, and they're just basically filler titles. Of course, I did leave these behind, but this next store had some really interesting games, a good selection of PlayStation 3 and some PlayStation 1 games, and it's getting fairly rare, I would say, to see PS1 games at the Carboot, but more often than not, they are kind of your sports titles, your lower value games such as Spice World here, because honestly, comment down below if you ever played Spice World back in the day. It was such a zeitgeist. Following on from what I said earlier, the Carboots are still an amazing place to build an Xbox 360 collection because all of the games here were just £2 each. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but I actually owned every single Xbox 360 game here. Simply because, like I said, I've done this for years. Going to Carboots, picking these games up for 50p, £1, even £2. Because the Xbox 360 is such a fantastic console to collect for. And honestly, if you're looking to collect for a console on a budget in 2025, the Xbox 360 is the one for you. I was quite tempted by these demos, but I did decide to leave them behind. I saw these couple of packets of Pokemon cards sitting on this table here, asked how much they were £1 each. Now, these did look a little bit sus, but I thought, you know what, for £1 I'll pick these up, but we'll talk about these in the pickups. More games here, and let me know in the comments down below, when you're hunting at the Carboot, do you prefer your games to be priced or unpriced? You may be wondering why I'm picking up U-Star 2 here for £3. Well, it was brand new and sealed. I managed to haggle down for £2, and honestly, for £2 for a sealed game, no brainer. After video games, my second love will always be toys, both retro and modern. One of my favourite toy lines is the TMNT toy line, and this is a crossover I never knew I needed, TMNT and Masters of the Universe. These figures were £5 each, and I did decide to grab this Teela, and I'd never seen it before. But there was also some really cool loose figures on here, including another one of my favourite toy lines, the Kenner Aliens toys. I still to this day do not understand why they marketed a film like Aliens to kids, but these toys were and still are super cool. I have quite a few of these in my collection already, and these were exactly at retail price, so I did decide to pass, but honestly, this was super cool to see here at the Carboot. This stall also had these giant Turtles figures. Now, these weren't the original 80s giant Turtles or the reissue, which I do own. They were the kind of early 2000s version, so I did decide to leave them behind. But these were super cool because, like I said, I am a sucker for anything TMNT. This stall had a really, really good selection. One of the hardest things when it comes to collecting toys is actually remembering what you have, as a lot of my figures are sadly in storage, just because I haven't got enough room to display them. And I couldn't remember if I had this specific Witcher figure, so unfortunately I did have to sadly leave it behind. I keep trying to resist picking up VHS tapes, I really do, but at 50p each, I'm going to have to pick up at least one, and it's Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. One absolutely incredible film. Just checking it didn't have any mould. It looked good, so I did pick it up. I love the aesthetic of VHS. I can't help myself. 50p, I couldn't leave it. Back to the video games, and this stall had a little bit of everything. PC games, including PC CD-ROM games, which I really enjoyed picking up. Some older PC games, such as Computer Scrabble, loads of controllers, accessories, Xbox 360, and specifically PlayStation 3. Now, all the PlayStation 3 games here were just £2, and you can see something sticking out on this pile here. It's the red spines of the PlayStation Essentials collection. Now, if you've been watching the channel for a while, you will know I'm going for the complete PlayStation 3 Platinum collection. But following the Platinum collection is the PlayStation Essentials collection. Now, I haven't thought about this collection just yet, but with this stack here, there is 3 games for the PlayStation Essentials line. Just saying. Like I said, I find it very hard to resist picking up VHS tapes, especially if they're a good price, but I'm only after very specific films and TV shows. They really have to have a special place in my heart to earn a place on my VHS shelf. The same goes for Funko Pops, because they have to be something I absolutely love. I'm very picky when I pick these up, even though somehow I think I have about 50 in my collection already. But back to the VHS tapes, and this is a must grab for me. The greatest film of all time, Jurassic Park, in the format in which I used to watch it every single day. Another copy of Ace Ventura, sadly not the sequel, but there was another tape I did pick up here, Austin Powers. Some more games here, and these are the kind of boxes I will always check, as you never know what you're going to find, but unfortunately nothing too exciting here this time. Sadly, Fallout 4 has dropped in value now, so I did leave that one behind, but like I said, with boxes like this, you always have to check. Some more Pokemon cards here, this time from the recent McDonald's Happy Meals. And the thing is, I believe with Pokemon cards is knowing when to buy. And at the moment, these are easy to find. They're cheap, so I grabbed them for £1 each. There we have it then, folks. That was another glorious Sunday morning at my self-proclaimed greatest car boot in the world, Arming Hall. But this isn't the only car boot on a Sunday morning here in the Norwich area. We also have the Harvard Bridge Park and Ride car boot. Or should I say, we did have, as unbeknownst to me at the time, this was the final time this car boot would be here on a Sunday. And what a way to go out. This was one of the last sellers here, and they had this copy of Silent Hill 4, The Room, for the OG Xbox, and an absolutely fantastic selection of games here, all of which they said they were selling for less than CEX price. Now, unfortunately, this was right at the end of the day, but with my last £5, I did pick up this absolutely immaculate Steelbook for the 360. The car boot may be over, but we have one last stop here at my local recycling centre, where, spoiler alert, I did find something cool for the collection. Let's take it back to the games room for the pickups. Here we are then, back in the games room from an absolutely amazing car boot, and it's felt so good to be back. We have some awesome pickups for the collection, starting off from the recycling centre you saw there at the end. I didn't catch this on video, but this Jurassic World Orcoraptor figure. Now, I did have to look up which dinosaur this was. I knew it was Jurassic World, but I didn't recognise the species. But it is an Orcoraptor. This was just £2. You can tell this is official Jurassic World because they have these little QR codes here somewhere upon their person. And yeah, this one has a little bit of action. It kind of turns the head. It roars, it's really cool, and for £2, you know me, I'm a massive Jurassic nerd, I had to pick this up. Our first pickups from the Carboot are a couple of cheap Xbox 360 games. At this point I have over 500 Xbox 360 games, and if I ever see a tile I don't have already in the collection, if it's cheap enough I'm going to pick them up, and both these games were just £1 each. And the first game is Beijing 2008. Now unfortunately this isn't the Olympics game, which recently got a lot higher value traded in CX, but I think it's one I do need for the collection. And for £1 I take a risk, but this is a game I've never seen before. Sports Island Freedom. I'm guessing it's kind of the classic Connect Wii Sports style game you can play. 10 amazing games using Connect. I'm sure it's not going to be the most amazing game of all time, but it's a Connect game I've never seen, and for £1 I'm adding it to the collection. Our next pickup is keeping it Xbox 360, but this time this is a sealed game. Now I won't always pick up sealed games because I prefer to play my games, obviously, but this was only £2, and for that I just thought it was worth picking up a sealed Xbox 360 game. It is U-Star 2 in the movies. Not the most exciting game of all time, a Kinect game once again, but a sealed Xbox 360 game. These are the kind of games that will probably sit on my shelves for many years to come, and eventually I'll probably shift them over to a sealed collector. But for now, this one will be collecting dust on the shelf, but as I said, for £2 for a sealed Xbox 360 game, it's kind of rude not to. Next up we have some Pokemon cards, and we are definitely seeing a lot more Pokemon cards at the Carboot. A lot of dealers, a lot of sellers, but sometimes you can get some pokey bargains at the Carboot. So first off we have these 2 Happy Meal Pokemon card packs. Now I picked up a few of these while a Happy Meal was in McDonald's. I have no shame, it's a bit of fun. I think they're about £2 to add to a meal, or however much it is for a Happy Meal. I just can't remember. So I did pick up both of these for £1 each. I'll probably keep them sealed and add them to my wife's Pokemon collection you can see behind us. Next up, we have some sealed Pokemon cards. Now, when I saw these, I was on the fence. I was like, are these real? Are they fake? They were £1 each, and I thought, do you know what? At the end of the day, I'll pick these up because it's worth a risk for £1 a packet. Now, as soon as I showed these to Dan for the Dan and Games Man podcast, available wherever you find your podcasts every fortnight, he was like straight away, these are fake. I was like, okay, how can you tell? Because I genuinely didn't know. He said the cards at the top should not have this serrated edge, and upon looking at some pictures of genuine packs, because for some reason I don't have a genuine pack to hand, even though there's loads sealed in these boxes before, he was like, yeah, these are definitely fake, but I still want to open these up and see what they're like, because for £1, why are people making fake Pokemon cards? So let's open these up and see what they're like, and instantaneously, as soon as I open these, I can tell, yeah, these are exceedingly fake. Like, the colour of these is totally and utterly off, like ridiculously wrong. But let's see what we have. So we have a Lycanroc GX. Like, they're not the worst. That's obviously fake. I don't know if it comes out on the video. It's very obviously that's a fake card. Then we have, well, it's a good pack. We have Mewtwo. Then we have Radiant Greninja, Dragonite, Charmander from Pokemon Go, Giratina, Sakayan, a Charizard. So yes, we have a Charizard card in our pack. Bulbasaur, Squirtle, and back to Mewtwo. So pretty much the best pulls I've ever had from a packet of Pokemon cards, but alas, they are fake. Next up we have some VHS tapes. Now I've said many times, I'm trying not to fall down the rabbit hole of collecting VHS, but the prices with these are too good to pass up on. So the first one is a bit of a fail. Austin Powers International Man of Mystery. Amazing film, but I wasn't sure if I had this film already in my collection or the sequel, The Spy Who Me. And I unfortunately do have this already, but let me know in the comments down below if you need this one. I'm happy to send it just for the price of postage. But next up we have an absolute bona fide 90s classic, and it's films like this which I think the best way to watch this is on the VHS, the way it was intended. Jim Carrey and Ace Ventura, When Nature Calls. Now, I really wanted to pick up both films in the same day, but I only saw this one this time, and this was in really good condition for a film which is nearly 30 years old. It's in amazing condition. Main thing to check when you're picking up VHS is not the fact if it's been rewound, the fact it hasn't got any mold, because these are very susceptible to mold. So always check your VHS. So alrighty then, we have Ace Ventura in the collection, and finally, one of the most important VHS tapes I knew I needed to have in my collection. I'm sure I'm going to pick up many variants of this one because it is my favourite movie of all time, Jurassic Park. My personal copy of this VHS tape when I was young, I wore out. I watched it so many times. I would watch this film daily. Was and still are obsessed with this film. Yes, I've seen the newest film in the franchise, Jurassic World Rebirth. Yes, it's nowhere near the godly heights of this film, but I'd still give it a solid 7 out of 10. But this, for me, is without a doubt a 10 out of 10 movie. Which brings us on to quite possibly our best pickup this time at Arming Hall Carboot. And it made me question, am I starting a new collection? Because I picked up not one, but 2 PlayStation 3 Essentials games. We have Skate 3 and Lego Indiana Jones 2. Now both of these games were just £2 each. So that's about the right price for Lego Indiana Jones, but Skate 3 does have a fairly decent price at CEX. And at the moment, I don't think this is a collection I'm going to start just yet. But never say never, and keep an eye on the channel in the future, as maybe one day we'll be going for the complete PlayStation 3 Essentials collection, but not for now. I think I already have Skate 3 in the collection, maybe even in the Essentials case, so I am probably going to trade this one into CX because it does trade in for some decent money. But this one was kind of a surprise. Again, just £2 for Army of Two, The Devil's Cartel. Now this was the final Army of Two game I needed for the trilogy on PlayStation 3, and I'm a big fan of the Army of Two games. They are fantastic co-op third-person shooters. They're somehow like an even more macho Gears of War. Absolutely fantastic games, and generally I'm surprised at the price this game is commanding. So for £2, this was definitely the bargain of the day. Our penultimate pickup is something which absolutely personifies the 80s. The crossover we never knew we needed. Masters of the Universe and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with this Teela figure. This is absolutely incredible, and you know me, if you've watched the channel for any period of time, I absolutely love TMNT. Any kind of crossover, more than likely I'm going to pick it up. This was a real bargain. £5 for a pretty minty carded figure. As a TMNT fan and somewhat of a Motu fan, I just couldn't leave this one behind. We have one final pickup this time, which quite ironically could be our final pickup ever from Harvard Bridge Park and Ride Carboot. That's because the council has made a decision to end this Carboot after many years. And over the years I've had some absolutely amazing finds at this Carboot, and this final one is no different. Now unfortunately it isn't that copy of Silent Hill The Room for the OG Xbox. At the time I just unfortunately did not have the £25 on me to pick it up, and the seller was leaving at that time, but hopefully I will see them somewhere down the road. But we do have an amazing pickup. With my final £5 I picked up this copy of Crackdown for the Xbox 360, but this is no normal copy. This is a steelbook, and this is in incredible condition for a steelbook of this age. This is in just great condition, fully complete, with the map, with the manual, with of course the disc, and for £5 there was no way I'll be leaving this one behind. And I guess this one will just serve as a memory of the good times at Carboot lost to time. There we have it then, folks, what could be the end of an era, one of the final Carboots ever at Harvard Bridge, and I'm hoping to hit that Carboot up at least once more before it ends forever. But of course time is against me, and hopefully soon the stars will align and again I can visit my Sunday Carboot. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe, and as always, keep playing the game. See you soon.